Hello everyone. Welcome to Principle of Accounting Diploma in Business. Okay, so today's topic we will learn about topic 2 part 2. So this is the continuation from topic 2 part 1, whereby in part 1 we will learn on how to record a business transaction, and we learn on how to record each this transaction to be recorded in a double entry concept, whereby we have the debit and the credit side. Okay. So this is the continuation, okay, basically from what we have learned, yeah. But for this top part 2, we will learn on how to close the account and balance if all the accounts, and then all of these will be transferred to trial balance. Okay, so this topic 2 part 2 will be covered from two chapters, which are from chapter 5 and 6. So chapter 5 we learn about on how to balancing of the accounts. So these are the learning objectives. So after this chapter, you should be able to close all the accounts, okay, when appropriate, and then you have to balance at the end of period, which usually will be every month, and then you have to bring down all the opening balance to the next period, and then you should be able to differentiate between the debit balance and also credit balance. And after that, you also need to learn on how to prepare an accounts in the three column format. Okay, why we need to balance the account. Okay, so for example, like when we let's say the business owner bought a van using cash. Okay, so we have to record on the on the double entry concept, debit van, because we own the van. Now the asset being transferred or the item exchange is the van from supplier ABC to the business owner. Okay, now we possess the van. So van is a non-current asset. Okay, so it's our position is non-current asset. So when your current asset increase, you should record it on the debit side. Meanwhile, the next one, you should look into the mode of payment, or what we call as form of settlement. So form of settlement is by cash. Okay, so what will happen to our cash when we bought van using cash? So our cash will be decreased. Cash is current asset. Okay, so when the asset decrease, you should record it as credit side. Okay, so now when we have that entries, yeah, so you have to imagine, for example, like this. Hold on, let me prepare this. Okay. Let's say this is van account. Yeah, so let's say this is van account. Hold on. This is this van account. Okay, so here is the 1st January, for example. Just have the date. Okay, and then here cash, right? Okay, this is on the debit side. Okay, and then this is the credit side. So you should have the same, but this one is, let's say, for the cash. Okay, so meanwhile for the cash one, because when you should record it, this is van account on the debit side, but the item that you should write here is van lah. Okay, so let's say we have the amount is 5,000. Okay, so on the cash account, you should record it as van, right? This is van, this is cash on the credit side. Okay, so 5,000. So now we need to balance the account. We need to close this account. The reason why, okay, because we want to know this is our current balance that we have in our account. Okay, so we need to know how many asset that we have, how many cash we have at the end of every month. Yeah. Okay, so that's the reason why we should have we should that's the reason this balancing the accounts. Okay, so the account needs to be balanced at various time during the year. So usually it's every month they have to do the monthly closing, and then all this monthly account balance they have to accumulate it to quarterly, then semi-annually, and it will become yearly. Okay, so at the end of each accounting period, to summarize the situation, so how many van that you have currently, how many asset, how many cash you have on hand, and how many cash in the bank that you have at the moment. Okay, and then so as I mentioned, from the monthly profit, from the monthly record, then they will accumulate it. So we will have like a year, a year balance. Okay, so once a year in order to calculate the overall profit of the company performance, so that you can compare the current profit performance with the last year. Okay, and on top of that, okay, the reason why we have to balance the account is to see what is happening with respect to a particular account. So maybe like let's say we have um, multiple properties, okay, so buildings, shop lots. So when you do the balancing of the account, okay, so you can see the difference between from month to month or year to year basis. Okay, so from there, maybe if you are in the certain industry, so there are certain non-current asset that really concern you, yeah, in order for you to reduce certain costs, so there's a you have to monitor the particular account. Okay, how to balance where debtors have paid their accounts. This is the example. Okay, this is account of K10D in August 2016. Okay, so K10D is the debtors also known as your account receivable. Okay, let's say we have this transaction for the month of August. Okay, so this is K10D, this is account receivable. Yeah, so and these are the transaction occurred on August. So on August 1st, they have the sales, meaning K10D bought the products from the business. Yeah, so like 1st August is around 144. So now, when we record this as an account receivable, meaning this K10D, they take the goods from the business. Okay, they already take the product, but they have yet pay them the cash. So that's why we have to record it under K10D. Okay, that is for the 1st August. And then on 19th August, also same, they have another sales amounting 300. Okay, so now let's look on the credit side. This is debit side. Okay, so now, okay, then this is the account receivable. Account receivable, the balance is always be on the right hand side. Okay, when it's increased, it will be recorded on the debit here. Sorry, not right hand side, left hand side. Okay, so meanwhile at this part, it shows that, okay, to 16 August 22 and 22nd. So meaning, okay, then they make payments. Okay, they make payments to the business owner by check. Okay, by check. So that's why it mentioned here bank. So on 22nd, they paid 144 from the this is for the 1st August sales. Meanwhile, the 28th August, the transaction here, the 300 is paying the 19th August transaction of sales. Okay, so as you can see here, for both sides, the value are the same. Okay, here if you total it, it will be 444, right? Same goes with the left hand side and the right hand side. Debit and credit both are the same. Okay, so if you have such, you don't have any problem in order to balance the account. Yeah, basically you close off the account because Katani no longer owe you any amount, right? Because he bought from you, he take the goods and he pay accordingly to these dates. Yeah, so like this one is not much to worry. Okay, now, so as you can see here, both are the same. Okay, how to do? You just add on both sides. Okay, so if it's the same amount, that's it. But when you want to total it, you should have double line as per this format. Yeah, same like this. Okay, next one. This is how you balance the account whenever the debtors is still owe you for certain figures. Yeah. So another example, this is your account receivable, what we call as D9. So this his transaction with the business owner, okay, for August. So he has like 3 sales here on 1st, 15th and October, 30th August with the different figures. And then he only paid once. Okay, D9 only paid once, which is on 28th August using check, and he only issued check amounting 158. Okay, so as you can see here, this 28th August, the payment of 158 is for the 1st August. Meanwhile, for 15th and 30th, they still owe. Okay, they still owe the business. Okay, they still owe the business. So how to do this balancing? Okay, wait this one did they have? Okay, I will read through this and I will explain. Okay, in order to balance, we use these 5 steps lah. Basically, what you need to do, you have to add on both sides to find out the total. Okay, but do not write yet. Yeah, but okay, the amount that you should write is the one with the bigger figure. with the larger figure. Okay, see, deduct the smaller total from the larger total to find the balance. Okay, after that, enter the balance on the side with the smallest total. This is now means the total will be equal. Okay, and then you enter total level with each other, and then now enter the balance on the line below the totals on the opposite side to the balance shown above the totals. So what it meant here, okay, now let me demo you on how to do this. This is the from the D9, okay? So now what I meant just now, you have to add on these two side. Okay, find the total value. So here, if we total, then we have 482, okay? And then here, okay, you total both side. So here 482, this is 158. Okay, so I said you have to take the larger figure, so you have to do the double line like this. Okay, you take the larger figure, that is the same amount lah. It must be balanced. This is in accordance with the accounting equation. Yeah. So now you take the first 482 and it must be aligned and it must be double line. Yeah, same like this format. You cannot be, let's say, D9 here for the credit side. This one you put it on top here. No, cannot. Yeah, it must be the same. Yeah. Okay, now so it must be the same line. It must be a line. Okay, now since this one, yes, you total is 482, but then here you add you total is not 482, but is it is 158. There's a shortage, right? So the shortage is the amount that they actually due to us, right? Okay, because logically, okay, he have sales with us 482, but then he only paid once, which is 158. So basically, he owed these two balance. Okay, these two balance amounting 324. Okay, so in order to balance these both sides, here what you need to do, you have to record it on the last date of the month. So like this one, August 31st. So 31st August. Here the item that you should write is balance CD, balance carried down. Or you can write the short form here, balance C/D. Okay, and you write down the total, the difference. This 324 is the difference between the larger figure, then you minus with the smaller figure. Okay, so when you add on this, it will be the same. Okay, so that is the first and second step lah. You add on these two sides, find the larger number, then the larger number you put it here, and then the larger number you take the smaller number, then you write this item. So after that, okay, after that, this item you should carry forward to the next month. Okay, basically, conceptually, okay, D9 owe the business, okay, 324. These are the balance that he has yet paid us. Okay, this is the amount due for cash lah. Yeah. So now when you record this one must be contra. It must be when you meaning this is the carry forward balance. Okay, he still owe you 324. So when you want to carry forward to the next month, it must be contra to this side. Okay, if it's on the credit, then you transfer it on debit. So if it's on the debit side, you have to transfer it on the credit side. Okay, vice versa. So here, when they proceed to the next month, okay, then you should write the date lah. Okay, September 1st. So balance brought down 324. Okay, so from here credit, so you transfer to the debit side. Yeah, so for 1st September, you have the D9 still have the balance of 324. So this balance brought down we can write as balance BD, balance B/D. Okay, it's sufficient enough. You write like that. Yeah. Okay, another example, balancing a credit account. Just now is a debtors is our account receivable. So that's why it's very important, okay, for you to memorize this concept whereby here, the asset balance is always on the debit side. When it's increased, it should record it on debit. By its nature, the asset balance should be on the debit side. So same goes with this concept. Yeah, as you can see here, this is your debtors, right? So the balance, debtors is your account receivable. Okay, account receivable is current asset. So asset by its nature, the balance is always be on the debit side. Okay, so you have to, if let's say you couldn't recall all of this, you have to memorize all of this. Okay, and if let's say you could not recall this because it's too many, then you have to memorize by what the concept of using your fingers, at least concept. Okay, your thumb is asset, and then liability, I income or revenue or profit, and then C capital, and then E your expenses. The asset and equity sorry, the asset and expenses, it always be on a debit balance. Okay, then the remaining three, liability, income, and capital, it always be on the credit balance. Okay, whenever they increase, then it should be that side. Okay, so now let's look at what about if creditor. Creditor is your your account payable. So account payable meaning your liabilities, short-term liabilities, your current liability. So current liability by its nature, it must be on the here, see here, okay, credit side. Okay, so when it increase, you record it on credit side, but if let's say it decrease, you should record it on debit. But you want to balance off, okay, when you close the account, the balance always be on the credit side. That's how you can check whether your concept is correct or not. But sometimes, because you know, when you cross off the balance, then you may write on the different side. Okay. Okay, now, so E. Williams, so we bought from us, the business bought from E. Williams. Okay, we have these two purchases on 2nd August and so 18 August amounting this much, and then on 21st August we paid them by check. Okay, amounting 100 only. Okay, so we owe this one. Okay, if you see here, the business owe E. William 14. Wait, let me cut 14. 364. Okay, the total amount due, okay, is 364, but we only pay 100. Okay, let's see how we balance it. Okay, so it's about the same concept. Okay, so we total first, but you do not write the total the final total here yet. You calculate first. Okay, like this one 364, you paid only 100. So basically you owe sorry, yeah, basically business owner owe E. Williams 264, right? So you write down the figure, the bigger figure here. Okay, so the bigger figure here, 364. So you write, it must be a line and it must be double line like this. Okay, like this. So and then you close. So you go back to the shorter figure, which is at this debit side. So you write the last date of the month, which is 31st. So balance CD, balance carried down lah. You can write like this. So you write the short figure. So when you take the larger figure here, you minus 100. So 264. Yes, basically the business OE Williams 264 only. And then this, you carry to the next month. Cross lah, you cross. If it's on the debit side, then you bring it to the credit side. And even by its nature, as I mentioned just now, creditors, the balance, you always be on the credit side. Okay. So here on 1st September, balance brought down is 264. That's it. Okay. Okay. So this is this is another example. Okay, this is another example for K. Peterson. You purchase from K. Peterson these two transactions, and then you return some of the product because of the default 20, and then you pay them 600. Okay, and then you total first. So you total, the bigger figure is 20, so you write first. So whichever the shortest one, okay, the bigger figure minus the shorter figure, then you have the balance lah. Okay, so the balance here 200 on 31st August, and then you carry to the next month on 1st September will be 200. So here Peterson is our creditor, so our balance is on the credit side, so it's correct lah, because it's liabilities. Liabilities will be on the credit side. Now let's look at this three column account. Okay, so three column accounts do not use the format of a T account. So there are three columns, and the third column provide a running total of the balance. Okay, three column accounts are very similar to the bank statement. Okay, you will receive for a current account lah. It's the same, whereby you have three column, and then it's quite similar with the normal bank statement. Okay, they don't have the T form. This is another format lah, but it's very seldom for me to use this format. We just stick to the T form because that one is widely used. Yeah, if let's say we have the three column one, okay, so but this one I will just briefly explain. Okay, so for example, like the T candy just now. Okay, so here you sort accordingly. You don't split it to the debit and credit side. Okay, you do it by row. Okay, you do it by row. You don't have the two column, but the name is three column because of this. You have debit, you have credit, and then you have the balance. Then you have to calculate by row lah, one by one according to the date. So first August you have sales, which is debit. Okay, you write it here, and then the balance. These are the balance. 144 debit. So that's why we write the debit. DR stand for debit lah. Then you have sales 300, and you add on these two 444 debit. This stand for because you have debit balance. And 22nd, bank, you pay by bank, which is on credit. So just now you have 444 minus 144, so you have the balance of 300. So the still, okay, because here you still have the balance, okay, 444 minus 144, you still, because here the balance, the debit figure will be more than the credit one, so you have to write this as debit lah, yeah. And then on the 28 you pay 300, so 300 minus 300, so it becomes 0. Okay, this is for the K10D lah. What about the D9? So D9 is the same. First sales, okay, right, 155. And then you have another sale, 206. So you add on lah, 158 plus 206. So you have 264. So it's debit because this is from the debit transaction. And then you pay. Sorry, this is your customer. And then your customer pay on 28, okay, 158. So 364 minus. When it comes to the other way around, so you have to minus. Same with this. This one you add on, minus, minus, add on, minus. Because this one is account receivable. Okay. The balance will always be on the debit side. So if it's credit, then later we look at another example lah. Okay, so 364 minus 158. Then you have to balance 206. And then you plus 114. Then you have 324. But here you should write lah whether it's debit or credit balance from here, this transaction. So basically it's the same, yeah. But we don't use that one lah. We don't use that one so frequent, yeah. It's just for you to know that other than the T form, we also can prepare as such format. Okay, now, recorded transaction, double entry. This is for chapter 6, whereby we have to do the trial balance. Okay, we have to do the trial balance. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes. Okay, these are among the concepts that you need to know. Okay, before that, we have to do the review. Okay, for each debit entry, there is a credit entry because that's why we have the double entry concept. Okay, and then for each credit entry, there is a debit entry. Okay, vice versa lah. And the total of item recorded in all the accounts on the debit side should equal the total of all the items recorded on the credit account. So both sides, the total must be the same. Okay, when you do the double line, yeah. And then to check that there is a matching credit entry for our debit entry, that's why we prepare the trial balance, because we have this double entry concept. And then when you close the account and you know that it must be balanced, and because the one that we practiced just now, it must be balanced both sides because of this double entry concept. That's why we prepare the trial balance in order to check whether it's correct or not, together with the basic concept of asset equivalent to liability plus capital. Okay, the trial balance is a list of account, balances arranged according to the whether they are debit or credit balances. So this is the example. So with the same title, you should write as trial balance. You should write the company's name first, then trial balance as at the date, the month end date, okay, together with the year. So basically, it's from the previous one. Once you close, right? Wait, let me reverse back. Okay, like this one, right? So you have E. William balance 264 credit. This one credit. So you take whatever the balance here, you put it in the trial balance. You put it here, you record it. You record whatever with the balance only. Okay, like the first transaction, we don't have any balance, so don't need to write. So this example lah. When you carry forward, you just list and then you total. It must be the same. If it's not the same, then you need to find the difference. Then you check back based on the transaction, which figure that you may omit. Okay, maybe you put it on the wrong side, and maybe you forget to write down here. Okay, so that here it applies the same concept lah. Asset always be on the debit side, meanwhile the liabilities and also capital will be on the credit side. Okay, so let's look at this one, drawing up trial balance. Okay, the first stage is to balance the HT account, the one that we did just now. Yeah, so we balance. Okay, the first stage is to balance. So now, let's say we have these purchases account from different supplier. Okay, so we have this. Then we have the sales, all of this. Okay, let's say we have this data from the business transaction. So now we try to balance. Okay, so we balance. Okay, so we add on. So this side is nothing, right? But still, as I mentioned, we have to balance it. Huh? So this one, so obviously on the debit side here, the total is 994. So these are the ledger figures since there is nothing here on the purchases. So you write the figure 994. It must be aligned and the same. So this should be double line. So here the item that you write, because it's blank. Initially it's blank, right? So you should write this on the last date. Balance carried out. Balance CD. Okay, the amount is 994. And then this amount you should cross off in order to bring it down to the next month. Okay, balance brought down, which is from the previous month, which is 994. So it applies the same with the sales concept. So sales, or before this, you don't have anything. Okay, on the debit side here, nothing. So you only have sales here from various customer, and you also have uh cash sales. Okay, you add on. So here you have 490. You should write the same amount here because there's nothing here initially. Okay, it must be balanced, so it must be aligned with the double line. So here the shortage amount, you should write the last date of the month, and you should write balance CD, balance carried down. Then this you should carry to the next month. It must be contra lah, right? It must be contra cross So contra 11. Oh, sorry, that's a typo. I just noticed. This was supposed to be 1st June, but here written as 11 June. So this one should be first. So 1st June, balance brought down for 90. Same amount, you cross. You carry forward to the next month. So after that, okay, you see. So now you have balance brought down. Yes, purchases always be on the debit side, so correct. Credit always be on the credit side. See? So when it comes to credit side, here, okay, for 90. And then this balance, you carry to the trial balance. See? Sales debit. Okay, purchases debit, sales credit. Let's say you have any more, or you have other than that lah. Okay, the one that you close, so you just prepare it accordingly lah. Okay, so the second stage is to enter the account balance into the appropriate column. Just carry forward. If let's say yours is balance on debit, then you write. Okay, you just carry forward from this one, you transfer. This one also you transfer. This is sales account, credit, purchases, debit balance. Okay, you bring it to the trial balance format. This one, purchase, debit, sales, credit. So this is after that. Okay, after that, let's say lah you have multiple transaction like this. Okay, you already recorded all from you once you close the account, once you balance the account. After that, you total it. You just add on all of this, both sides. It must be balanced. If it's not balanced, then you have to check. You find the difference, then you have to check. You may omit to write certain figures, or you may omit. There must be error. So you have to check back lah each one of the transaction. Okay, so this is an example. If let's say it's not balanced, then you have to find out lah. Okay, you find the difference first, and then you double check again which transaction containing those figures. Okay, the shortage amount. Okay, drawing out trial balance. Okay, the trial balance always has the date of the last day of the accounting period. What it meant, this is a title. Okay, this one. Okay, and then it is a snapshot of balances on the ledger accounts at that date. Ledger account is the T form lah. Okay, and the total of two columns must always match, must be balanced. And a trial balance can be drawn up at any time, but it is normal practice to prepare one at end of accounting period before preparing a statement of profit or loss, and also statement of financial position. Okay, so usually they will prepare that one first before they finalize the financial statements lah. They will do that. Okay, in order to double check lah. So it's easy to assume that if the trial balance balances, entries in the accounts must be correct. However, there are several types of error that will not affect the balancing of a trial account, because we're using the double entry concept, right? Let's say lah, okay, let's say like these examples. Okay, you purchase a van using cash just now. Yeah, you record it wrongly. Let's say van here credit, cash here debit. When you balance all the accounts, you prepare the trial balance, it still give you the same. It will still give you the same amount lah, because you apply the debit and credit concept. That is one of the drawbacks lah, whereby there's still an error. Okay, but The error that are revealed include addition errors, okay, in using one figure for the debit entry and another for the credit entry, entering only one side of the transaction. So these are among the errors lah. So maybe like you forget, you only like the this one using one figure for the debit entry, another for the credit entry, like the misconcept just now that I've shown. Okay, another one, if let's say you only record it on one side, the other side you forget to record. Okay, so these are among the errors that usually happen lah. Okay, and this only can be traced when you prepare the trial balance. Okay, inventory in the trial balance. So what will happen to this one? So the closing inventory figure is not found in the account of ledger, and so does not appear in the trial balance, because here, okay, you only find the details of the inventory in the financial statements. Okay, so the total figure, because the way they measure, as I mentioned last week, okay, for the inventory, how they measure the total inventory, they're using different method lah. Okay, and that's why the total inventory, you only see that in the statement of profit or loss, or in the income statement. Okay, and the opening inventory is recorded in a ledger account, and so would be included in the trial balance. But if it's for opening one, yes, they will show it lah, only for opening. For the closing one, they will only prepare it in the statement of profit or loss, or what we call as income statement. So these are the basic debit and credit, okay, the table uh, that you need to memorize, okay. So, but this is only applied when they increase in value, so you should record it on that particular part, debit or credit, okay, the side, and then if it's decreased, then it should be the other way around lah. Yeah, this is what I taught you guys last week. Okay, this one, the one I taught you guys last week. So you must memorize this, because you will need this in order to check the trial balance concept. So if let's say when you close the profit account, no, sorry, for example like this lah, your account payable, the creditors. Okay, when you balance brought down, the balance is on debit side. Okay, so conceptually it's totally wrong lah, because liabilities, the ending balance always be on credit side. Okay, so actually for this topic it's not much, it's just that's why I mentioned that you have to make sure that you already understand well, okay, for the topic 2 part 1. Only then this will be easier. It's just when you do this, it must be hands-on practical. You must practice it using your hand, okay, to do the closing accounts, and also to prepare the trial balance. That will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.